The signal from Elara. In the year 2057, Earth stood as a beacon of technological achievement and curiosity. Humanity had pushed the boundaries of its existence, extending its reach into the vastness of space. Satellites dotted the night sky, spinning in a synchronized dance, listening for whispers from distant worlds. The thrill of interstellar communication filled the air, as scientists and enthusiasts alike pored over data, dreaming of what lay beyond the stars. Among the routine chatter of scientific data and the familiar exchanges of political pleasantries, a singular message arrived that would forever alter the course of human history. It started as an obscure signal, picked up by several monitoring stations across the globe. Initially, it was considered a cosmic anomaly, perhaps the remnants of an exploding star or the echo of an ancient cosmic event. But as the signal persisted, weaving its intricate tapestry of tones and rhythms, its significance could no longer be ignored. Within hours, urgent meetings convened in laboratories and government buildings worldwide. Teams of experts huddled in dimly lit rooms, their faces illuminated by the glow of computer screens filled with incomprehensible symbols. The world held its breath as the brightest minds scrambled to decode the enigmatic message. Each character was meticulously analyzed, every tone scrutinized until finally, a breakthrough came. The message began to take shape, a plea from a civilization known as the Elara, inhabitants of a lush green planet orbiting a distant star. Their society, once vibrant and bustling with life, now faced the grim reality of extinction. The Elara were a race of green-skinned women, endowed with beauty and grace, yet haunted by desperation. Centuries of relying on an ancient, now failed method of reproduction had left them with dwindling numbers. The chilling core of their message reverberated through the global community. We need your help to survive. Send us your mails, please. The implications of the message sent shockwaves through every corner of Earth. News outlets buzzed with speculation. Interviews and debates unfolded like wildfire. From the grand halls of the United Nations to the intimate confines of living rooms, humanity grappled with an unprecedented question. Should we aid an alien race on the brink of extinction? In an emergency session, world leaders gathered, their faces a mixture of concern and determination. The assembly hall, usually filled with the sounds of diplomatic discourse, now hummed with an undercurrent of urgency. The Secretary-General, a seasoned diplomat with years of navigating complex global crises, took the floor. His voice was steady but strained as he addressed the assembly. Today, we face a decision unlike any other in the history of our species, he began, his gaze sweeping across the room. The Elara, a civilization far beyond our reach, have asked for our help. Their survival depends on us, but the risks and challenges are immense. We must weigh our options carefully, not just for ourselves, but for the future of all sentient beings. As the Secretary-General spoke, the screens around the room displayed images of the Elara, tall, elegant figures with shimmering emerald skin and luminous eyes that held a profound sadness. Their beauty was striking, yet it was coupled with a haunting desperation that tugged at the heartstrings of every listener. The room fell silent as the plea played again. We need your help to survive. Send us your mails, please. The weight of the message hung heavily in the air. The debate that ensued was intense. Delegates rose one by one, voicing their concerns, fears, and hopes. Some argued passionately for a moral obligation to help the Elara, to extend a hand across the stars and save a dying race. They spoke of compassion, the potential for interspecies collaboration, and the unprecedented opportunity to unite two civilizations. Others, however, remained skeptical, warning of the unknowns and potential dangers of genetic engineering. What if the Elara's true intentions were hidden behind their desperate plea? What if, in helping them, humanity unleashed forces it could not control? Amidst the heated discussions, scientists and geneticists provided insights into the feasibility of the Elara's request. They explained that the Elara had shared advanced information about their genetic engineering technologies, capabilities far beyond anything humanity had developed. The Elra claimed these technologies could allow for a fusion of human and Elran DNA, creating viable offspring. Yet the scientists cautioned that this process was fraught with uncertainties. There was no guarantee that such a genetic fusion would be safe or successful. The implications for both species were vast and largely uncharted. Outside the assembly halls, the world was captivated by the unfolding drama. News outlets churned out stories, each more sensational than the last. Pundits and experts speculated on everything from the potential for interspecies relationships to the ethical boundaries of genetic manipulation. In cafes, homes, and public squares, people gathered to discuss the latest developments, their faces illuminated by screens displaying news updates. The conversations were animated, filled with wonder and apprehension. Some were inspired by the idea of helping another species, while others feared the unknown consequences. As the world watched, a group of individuals emerged from the shadows of anonymity, men willing to volunteer for the mission to Elara. These were not just ordinary men. They were adventurers, scientists, soldiers, and philosophers. Driven by a mix of curiosity, duty, and a desire to be part of something greater than themselves, they stepped forward to answer the call. Among them was Dr. Isaac Moore, a renowned geneticist known for his groundbreaking work and controversial theories. To him, the Elra's plea was an irresistible challenge, a chance to apply his knowledge in ways that could change history. Also joining the mission was Captain James "Jax" Harding, a seasoned astronaut and former military pilot. Jax had spent years exploring the far reaches of space, and the thought of venturing to an alien world to help save a civilization ignited a fire in him that he hadn't felt in years. He was a man of action, driven by duty and a thirst for adventure. Then there was Matt Alvarez, a linguist and cultural anthropologist whose fascination with alien cultures had led him to study every piece of information humanity had ever gathered on extraterrestrial life. For Matt, this mission was about understanding a new civilization and bridging the gap between two worlds. As the roster of volunteers grew, so did the anticipation. The world waited with bated breath as the United Nations deliberated, knowing that the decision would have far-reaching consequences. The choice was not merely about saving the Elra, it was about defining humanity's role in the galaxy. Finally, after days of intense debate, the United Nations reached a decision. The Secretary-General, flanked by representatives from around the world, stood before the cameras to address a global audience. "We have weighed the risks, uncertainties, and moral implications," he began, his voice steady but solemn. "We have decided to answer the Elra's call for help. A team of volunteers will journey to their planet, not just as representatives of Earth, but as ambassadors of hope, unity, and cooperation between species." The announcement elicited a mix of relief and anxiety. For some, it was a moment of triumph, a bold step into the unknown. For others, it was a decision fraught with danger, a gamble that could lead to unforeseen consequences. But for the volunteers, it marked the beginning of a journey that would take them to the edges of human understanding and beyond. As they prepared for the mission, each man reflected on what lay ahead. They understood that their actions would shape the future, not just for themselves or the Elra, but for all of humanity. The world watched with a mixture of hope, fear, and awe as the volunteers boarded the spacecraft, a sleek, state-of-the-art vessel designed for long-distance travel across the stars. With engines humming to life, the countdown began, and with a thunderous roar, the spacecraft lifted off, ascending through Earth's atmosphere and into the vastness of space. As it disappeared into the void, the world held its breath, knowing that the journey to Elara had begun, a journey that would test the limits of science, ethics, and the very essence of what it meant to be human. In the silence of space, the volunteers gazed out at the endless expanse before them, their thoughts filled with the possibilities and challenges that awaited them on the green planet. Each of them knew that the decisions they made in the coming days would have consequences that would ripple through time and space, shaping the destiny of two worlds. Bound by a shared purpose, the men of Earth embarked on a mission that transcended the stars, carrying with it the hopes of an entire species and the future of an alien race on the brink of extinction. The journey to Elara was not just about survival. It was about forging a new alliance, rewriting the narrative of humanity, and perhaps discovering what it truly meant to be a part of the universe. The arrival on Elara. As the Odyssey glided silently through the cosmos, the crew experienced the surreal wonder of space travel. Time seemed to stretch and contract in the confines of the spacecraft, each day blurring into the next as they adjusted to life on board. The Odyssey was a marvel of human engineering, a sleek vessel designed for long-distance journeys across the stars. Its advanced systems hummed softly, creating an environment that was both comforting and invigorating, allowing the crew to focus on their mission. As the ship approached the Elrond star system, excitement and apprehension filled the air. Captain James "Jax" Harding often stood at the observation deck, gazing out at the infinite expanse of space. Stars twinkled like distant diamonds, each one a reminder of the countless worlds waiting to be explored. Yet, the prospect of landing on Elara, that alien destination, filled him with a mix of wonder and unease. This was unlike any mission he had embarked on before. It was not just about exploration, but also about saving an entire civilization. Dr. Isaac Moore, the lead geneticist, was equally absorbed in his thoughts. The implications of their mission weighed heavily on his mind. He had spent years studying human genetics, and now he was about to engage in a groundbreaking experiment involving a different species. The possibility of merging human DNA with that of the Elro was thrilling but fraught with uncertainty. What if the genetic fusion failed? What if it produced unforeseen consequences? The lives of countless beings depended on their success. Matt Alvarez, the linguist and cultural anthropologist, often joined Jax at the observation deck. Together, they would discuss their hopes and fears about the impending arrival. This isn't just a scientific endeavor, Matt mused one evening, watching the stars streak by. It's about understanding a culture that's been evolving for eons. We have to approach them with respect and an open mind. They're not just subjects in a lab. They are a living, breathing civilization with their own stories and histories. As the Odyssey entered the Elrond star system, the crew gathered for a meeting to prepare for their descent. The ship's sensors had begun to pick up signals from Elara, a planet draped in lush greenery and swirling clouds. Maps and data projected onto screens, revealing a world that seemed almost alive with color and vibrancy. The team studied the data intently, their hearts pounding with anticipation. "Tomorrow, we will touch down on Elara," Jax announced, his voice steady but charged with emotion. "This is our chance to make history, to help a civilization in need. Remember, we are ambassadors of hope, not just scientists. Our approach will shape their perception of us." The team nodded, the weight of their mission hanging heavily in the air. Dr. Moore spoke up. "We've prepared extensively, but we must be adaptable. The Elra may not communicate or behave as we expect. Let's approach every encounter with curiosity and humility." As night fell, the ship hummed softly, and the crew members settled into their routines. Each man reflected on what lay ahead, knowing that their actions would influence not only their lives, but the future of an entire alien race. Sleep came slowly for many, thoughts racing with possibilities and uncertainties. The following morning, the crew gathered in the command center, a sense of purpose radiating from each individual. They donned their specialized suits designed for alien environments, checking their equipment one last time. Jax gave a final briefing, reminding everyone of their mission objectives: to establish contact, understand the Elra culture, and begin discussions on genetic cooperation. As the ship approached Elara, its surface came into view, a breathtaking tapestry of vibrant greens and deep blues, interspersed with swirling clouds that hinted at a rich atmosphere. The planet appeared almost magical, like a painting brought to life. The crew exchanged awed glances, marveling at the beauty before them. "Prepare for landing," Jax commanded, his voice steady. The Odyssey began its descent, cutting through the atmosphere with a slight tremor. As they broke through the clouds, the verdant landscape unfolded beneath them, revealing vast forests, towering mountains, and shimmering lakes that sparkled in the sunlight. The ship touched down on a soft expanse of grass, and the engines hummed to a halt. A mix of excitement and anxiety filled the air as the crew gathered by the exit hatch. Jax led the way, pressing a button that opened the door to a new world. As the hatch descended, the warm air of Alara rushed into the cabin, carrying with it the scent of blooming flowers and lush vegetation. The crew stepped out onto the alien soil, their boots sinking slightly into the rich earth. Before them lay a landscape untouched by human hands, teeming with life. In the distance, they spotted figures approaching, tall, elegant beings with shimmering emerald skin and glowing eyes. The Elra were as stunning as the images had suggested, their presence radiating an air of grace and strength. The crew stood in awe, captivated by the beauty of these alien women who embodied both elegance and determination. The first to step forward was an Elran named Seraphina, her vibrant green skin glistening in the sunlight. She approached with cautious curiosity, her expression a mix of hope and trepidation. "Welcome, travelers from Earth," she said, her voice melodic and soothing. "We have awaited your arrival." Jax stepped forward, feeling the weight of the moment. "We come in peace, seeking to help your people," he replied, his voice steady. "We received your message and are here to understand your needs." Seraphina nodded, her eyes reflecting a depth of emotion. "You have answered a call that few would heed. Our plight is dire, and we have placed our trust in you." Dr. Moore joined the conversation, his scientific curiosity piqued. "Can you tell us more about your society and the challenges you face?" he asked, eager to learn. As the Elra began to explain their history and the reasons behind their desperate plea, the crew listened intently. They learned of a once thriving civilization that had flourished for centuries, rich in culture and community. Yet, as generations passed, their methods of reproduction had failed, leaving them without males to sustain their race. "Many of our ways are ancient," Seraphina explained. "We relied on a natural balance that has now been disrupted. Without your help, we will become extinct, and our stories will fade into oblivion." Matt, ever the cultural anthropologist, asked, "What do you envision for this cooperation? What would it mean for your people?" Seraphina's gaze was steady, filled with hope and determination. "We seek not just to survive, but to flourish once again. We wish to create a bond between our species, one built on understanding and respect. Our cultures can enrich each other, and through this union, we can find strength in diversity." The crew exchanged glances, the enormity of their task settling upon them. They were not just scientists on a mission. They were bearers of hope, tasked with forging a connection between two worlds. As they listened to the Elra speak of their dreams, the challenges ahead began to crystallize in their minds. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting golden hues over the landscape, Jax felt a surge of determination. This was the beginning of a new chapter, not just for the Elra, but for humanity as well. They had come to save a civilization, but perhaps they would also discover something profound about themselves in the process. "Together, we will find a way," Jax declared, his voice resonating with conviction. "This journey will not only define your future but ours as well. We are honored to stand beside you in this endeavor." With that, the crew of the Odyssey began their work, laying the foundations for a partnership that would bridge the gap between Earth and Alara. They spent days engaging with the Elra, learning their ways, sharing their knowledge, and exploring the potential for cooperation. As they delved deeper into the mysteries of Alara, the bonds of friendship began to form between the humans and the Elra. Each day brought new challenges, new discoveries, and the blossoming of hope, a hope that would extend beyond the stars and into the hearts of two civilizations yearning for connection. The first steps of cooperation. As the days turned into weeks, the partnership between the crew of the Odyssey and the Elra deepened, woven together by a shared purpose and mutual respect. Each day brought new insights, challenges, and opportunities for collaboration. The lush landscapes of Elara became a second home for the volunteers as they embraced the rhythm of the Elrun way of life. They learned to appreciate the intricate beauty of their surroundings: tall trees with shimmering emerald leaves swaying in the gentle breeze, vibrant flowers that seemed to dance in the sunlight, and the melodious sounds of wildlife that created a symphony of life. Captain Jax Harding often led exploratory missions into the heart of Elra's untouched wilderness. The Elra accompanied him, their graceful movements contrasting with the more rugged approach of the human crew. Jax found himself captivated by Seraphina, who often walked beside him, sharing stories of her people's past. Her voice was melodic, each word imbued with a sense of pride and urgency. Long ago, our civilization thrived, Seraphina explained during one of their treks. We celebrated life, art, and knowledge. But over time, our methods of reproduction diminished, and we have been left with our memories. It is painful to think that we may fade away, just like the stories of our ancestors. Jax felt a deep empathy for her plight. "We're here to change that," he replied, his voice firm with conviction. "Together, we can find a way to ensure your future." As the crew settled into their roles, each member focused on their specific areas of expertise. Dr. Isaac Moore immersed himself in the Elrun scientific community, collaborating with their leading geneticists to explore the possibilities of genetic fusion. Their laboratories were equipped with technologies that defied human understanding, utilizing bioluminescent organisms and organic materials to conduct experiments in ways that were both intricate and beautiful. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the lab, Dr. Moore reviewed data alongside Elrun scientist Elara. Her bright blue eyes sparkled with excitement as they analyzed the results of their latest experiments. "Our understanding of DNA is vastly different from yours, but the potential for collaboration is immense," Elara said, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. "Indeed," Isaac replied, fascinated by her insights. "Your techniques allow for precision that we have yet to achieve. However, we must tread carefully. The merging of our genetic materials could have unforeseen consequences. We must ensure that the new life we create is viable and safe for both species." Elara nodded, her expression turning serious. "We understand the risks, Dr. Moore. Our desperation has led us to seek help, but we cannot ignore the ethical implications. We must create life with the utmost respect for both our species. Our cultures are intertwined in this endeavor, and we must proceed with caution." In the weeks that followed, the team worked tirelessly, balancing their scientific ambitions with the ethical considerations of their mission. They engaged in daily discussions about the implications of their actions, grappling with the moral responsibilities of creating life. The Elra shared their traditions, which emphasized harmony with nature and the sanctity of life. Meanwhile, mentor Matt Alvarez delved into the depths of Elrun culture, fascinated by their stories and beliefs. He spent evenings with Seraphina and other Elrun leaders, exchanging tales of human history and mythology. "Our stories shape us," Matt explained one night as they sat around a glowing fire. "They define who we are and what we aspire to become." Seraphina nodded thoughtfully. "We share that belief. Our legends are filled with tales of courage and resilience, and we use them to inspire future generations. Perhaps together, we can create a new story that bridges our two civilizations." Inspired by this idea, Matt proposed an initiative to document their shared experiences through art and storytelling. "Let's create a mural that combines our cultures, a symbol of our unity and cooperation," he suggested. The Elra responded with enthusiasm, eager to contribute their artistic talents. They began gathering materials from their surroundings, using vibrant pigments made from crushed flowers and minerals. As the mural took shape, the crew painted scenes that depicted the journey of both species, from Earth's bustling cities to the serene beauty of Elara's landscapes. Jax and Matt worked side by side, their laughter ringing out as they shared stories while splashing colors onto the canvas. The mural became a vibrant tapestry of hope, representing not just their collaboration, but also the blending of their cultures and aspirations. As the weeks passed, the crew became more integrated into Elrond society. They participated in local festivals, celebrating life and the bonds of community. These gatherings were filled with music, dance, and storytelling. Jax found himself swept up in the joy of the celebrations, dancing alongside the Elra under the starlit sky. The weight of their mission seemed to lighten in those moments, replaced by a sense of belonging. Yet, even amidst the joy, the reality of their mission loomed large. The crew continued their work in the laboratory, preparing for the critical moment when they would attempt the first genetic fusion. The scientists had gathered all the necessary data, but doubts lingered in Isaac's mind. He understood the weight of their actions, and the thought of playing a role in the creation of a new life filled him with both excitement and trepidation. One fateful morning, the team gathered in the laboratory for the pivotal experiment. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, a palpable mix of hope and anxiety. Jax addressed the group. "Today, we stand at the crossroads of history. Our efforts could change the fate of the Elra and humanity. Let us remember the purpose behind our work, to forge a future for both species." With a nod from Isaac, they initiated the process. The laboratory hummed with energy as they carefully combined human and Elra DNA, utilizing techniques that blended their respective knowledge. Hours passed like seconds, each moment filled with tension as they awaited the outcome. Finally, the moment arrived. The data streams flashed on the screens, indicating the success of their fusion. Cheers erupted in the lab, a wave of exhilaration washing over the crew. The first hybrid cell, a combination of human and Elran DNA, had formed. But as celebration filled the air, Isaac felt a pang of uncertainty. "This is only the beginning," he cautioned, his voice steady yet reflective. "We must be diligent in monitoring the development of these cells. We have taken a monumental step, but the journey is far from over." The crew nodded, aware of the path that lay ahead. They understood that they were not just scientists on a mission. They were pioneers forging a new frontier, navigating the complexities of existence itself. Their success would redefine the boundaries of possibility, connecting two civilizations in ways they had yet to fully comprehend. As the sun set on another day in Elara, the crew looked forward to what lay ahead. They had embarked on a journey to save a civilization, but in doing so, they had opened their hearts and minds to a future filled with hope, creativity, and cooperation. The mural they had painted was a testament to their commitment, a visual representation of the bond they had formed with the Elra. Together, they would write the next chapter in the history of both species, blending their strengths and wisdom to create a legacy that would endure for generations. The journey of cooperation was just beginning, and with it came the promise of new discoveries, friendships, and a brighter future for all. The unforeseen challenges ahead. As the crew of the Odyssey continued their collaborative efforts with the Elra, they soon discovered that the path to a successful partnership was fraught with unforeseen challenges. The initial excitement surrounding the genetic fusion experiments gradually gave way to deeper complexities, cultural misunderstandings, and the weight of ethical dilemmas. In the weeks following the groundbreaking experiment, Dr. Isaac Moore and his team devoted themselves to monitoring the hybrid cells. Initial results had been promising, showing signs of growth and vitality. Yet, as the days passed, it became evident that the process of developing viable offspring was more intricate than anyone had anticipated. The hybrid cells displayed a range of characteristics, some thriving while others exhibited abnormalities that raised concerns. One evening, as the crew gathered in the lab for a routine debriefing, the mood was tense. Isaac stood before the team, flipping through the data displayed on the holographic screen. "We've seen promising growth in several hybrid cells," he began, his tone serious. "However, not all of them are stable. Some have developed unexpected traits that could pose serious challenges in the long run." Jax leaned forward, absorbing the information. "What does this mean for our project? Are we at risk of failure?" His voice reflected the weight of responsibility resting on their shoulders. Isaac rubbed his temples, the strain of the situation evident. "We need to be honest with ourselves. we're navigating uncharted territory. We might need to reassess our approach to the genetic fusion process. We can't afford to take risks with the lives we're attempting to create." The room fell silent, the crew exchanging anxious glances. Elira, the Elrond geneticist who had been working closely with Isaac, spoke up, her voice steady yet filled with urgency. "This is a shared mission, and we must adapt. My people have their own methods of genetic engineering that may provide insights we haven't considered. We need to collaborate closely and explore every avenue available to us." While discussions about the technical aspects of their work continued, a different tension simmered beneath the surface, one rooted in cultural differences. As the Elra community witnessed the human scientists' methods and the ongoing genetic experiments, a divide began to emerge. Not everyone embraced the partnership. Some voiced concerns that merging their genetics with humans could threaten the essence of what it meant to be Elra. One afternoon, Seraphina approached Jax in a quiet corner of the lush garden surrounding their living quarters. The vibrant colors of the flowers and the soft hum of nature contrasted with the serious tone of their conversation. "Jax," she began, her brow furrowed with worry, "there is a growing sentiment among my people regarding our partnership. While many support our collaboration, others fear we may lose our identity in this process." Jax listened intently, sensing the weight of her words. "What are they concerned about specifically?" he asked, wanting to understand her people's perspective. "They worry that in our pursuit of survival, we might forsake our traditions and the stories that define us. The Elra have a rich cultural heritage. Our songs, our art, and our way of life have existed for millennia. There is fear that by merging our species, we may dilute what makes us who we are," Seraphina explained, her voice tinged with emotion. Jax nodded, empathy washing over him. "I understand. We're not just scientists here. We're ambassadors of our respective cultures. It's crucial that we honor and preserve your identity while working towards a solution. Perhaps we can integrate aspects of Elrond culture into our scientific process, finding a way to marry both worlds without compromising your heritage." "That would mean the world to my people," Seraphina replied, relief evident in her eyes. "We need to create a space where the Elra voice is heard and respected. Our partnership must be one of equals, where both cultures thrive." In the following days, Seraphina organized a series of gatherings aimed at fostering dialogue between the Elra and the crew of the Odyssey. These meetings became forums for discussion, where the Elra could express their concerns and hopes. Jax and his team listened attentively, eager to learn and understand the complexities of Elrond culture. During one such gathering, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation as Seraphina addressed the crowd. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice resonating with passion. "As we forge this new partnership with our human friends, we must remember who we are. Let us not lose sight of our stories, our songs, and our traditions. They are the fabric of our identity." Matt Alvarez, the cultural anthropologist, took the opportunity to share his insights. "Your stories hold great power. They connect us to our past and guide us towards the future. If we can weave your narratives into our work, we can create a legacy that honors both cultures." As the discussions progressed, an unexpected proposal emerged. One of the elder Elra suggested a cultural exchange program where the humans could experience Elrond traditions while teaching the Elra about their own. "Let us learn from one another," the elder said, her voice strong. "We can create a bridge that honors both our histories while paving the way for a shared future." The idea resonated deeply within the group, igniting enthusiasm among both the Elra and the crew. They began planning cultural festivals that would showcase Elrond art, music, and cuisine, inviting the human volunteers to participate fully. In the weeks that followed, vibrant festivals blossomed in the heart of Elara. The lush fields transformed into a canvas of colors as Elra danced and sang, their voices carrying tales of resilience and hope. The humans, in turn, shared their own traditions, introducing the Elra to music and stories from Earth. As they celebrated together, bonds formed and barriers began to dissolve. Jax found himself deeply moved by the Elrond festivities, immersing himself in their dances and songs. The laughter and joy that filled the air reinforced the idea that collaboration did not mean losing one's identity, it could enhance and enrich it. But even as the cultural exchange flourished, the scientific challenges remained. Dr. Moore and his team continued their work, aware of the pressing need to resolve the complications they faced in the laboratory. They spent long hours experimenting with new methods, integrating Elrond techniques into their own protocols, striving to create a viable hybrid that honored both species. One fateful evening, as Isaac and Alira worked side by side, they observed a significant breakthrough. The latest round of hybrid cells exhibited stability that they hadn't seen before. "Look at this," Isaac exclaimed, his eyes wide with excitement. "These cells are showing improved viability." Alira leaned closer, her heart racing. "This is remarkable. It seems that the adjustments we made based on your DNA protocols are yielding positive results." Their joy was palpable, but Isaac remained cautious. "We need to proceed carefully. Just because we've made progress doesn't mean we can ignore the potential risks. We're still navigating unknown territory, and we must continue monitoring the hybrids closely." Despite the challenges they faced, the partnership between the crew of the Odyssey and the Elra grew stronger. They learned to navigate their differences, embracing the beauty of their distinct cultures while working towards a common goal. Together, they began to envision a future where both species could thrive, each contributing their unique strengths to a shared narrative. As the sun set over Elara, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, Jax reflected on the journey so far. They had faced obstacles, but they had also forged connections that transcended mere science. They were now a part of something much greater, a story of hope, resilience, and collaboration that would echo across the stars. With renewed determination, Jax looked out at the horizon, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. They were pioneers, shaping a future where humanity and the Elra would stand together as equals, each enriching the other's existence in ways they had yet to fully understand. The path forward was uncertain, but together, they would navigate the complexities of their partnership, finding strength in unity and hope in their shared vision for the future. Seeds of hope. The days turned into weeks as the cultural exchange flourished, creating a vibrant sense of unity between the crew of the Odyssey and the Elra. What began as a mission to save a civilization evolved into a celebration of life, a blending of traditions, and a testament to the resilience of both species. The lush landscapes of Elara became alive with color and sound as music, laughter, and storytelling filled the air. One bright morning, Jax found himself walking alongside Seraphina through a verdant grove, where the towering trees swayed gently in the breeze. The rich, earthy scent of damp soil and blooming flowers enveloped them, while the melodious chirping of the Elrond birds created an uplifting symphony. In these tranquil moments, Jax felt a profound connection to Seraphina and her people, appreciating their strength and beauty more with each passing day. "Tell me more about your people's stories," Jax said, curiosity gleaming in his eyes. "I want to understand what defines the Elra beyond just the scientific endeavors we've pursued." Seraphina's smile widened, her luminous eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Our stories are woven into the very fabric of our being. We speak of the great winds that brought us here, the ancient trees that hold our history, and the songs of our ancestors that guide our hearts. One of the most cherished tales is of our goddess, Elenai, who gifted us the beauty of nature and taught us to live in harmony with the world around us." As they walked, Seraphina began to recount the tale of Elenai, her voice imbued with a reverence that captivated Jax. Elenai was not just a goddess of nature, she was a symbol of balance and wisdom. According to legend, she descended from the stars, her presence bringing forth the first blooms of spring and the gentle rains that nourished our land. In her honor, we celebrate the Festival of Blossoms each year, where we plant seeds to symbolize new beginnings and the promise of growth. Jax listened intently, his heart swelling with admiration for the Elra and their rich cultural heritage. That sounds beautiful. It's a reminder of the importance of nurturing life and the environment. Yes, Serafina replied, her expression thoughtful. But our stories also carry warnings. They teach us about the consequences of imbalance and the fragility of our existence. The tale of Elena reminds us to cherish and protect what we have, for it is easily lost. As they reached a clearing, Jax paused to take in the breathtaking view. A vast expanse of colorful flowers danced in the breeze, creating a patchwork of hues that stretched as far as the eye could see. "This place is magical," he said, his voice filled with awe. "I can see why your people hold it dear." "Every petal, every leaf, holds a story," Serafina replied, her gaze sweeping over the landscape. "And every year, we gather to tell them, to remember our past and embrace our future." Inspired by their conversation, Jax suggested, "Why don't we incorporate the Festival of Blossoms into our cultural exchange? It could be a way for the humans to honor your traditions while also creating new memories together." Serafina's face lit up with excitement. "That is a wonderful idea. It would show my people that we are committed to preserving our culture and embracing a future that honors both our civilizations." With their spirits lifted, they returned to the community, eager to share their plans. The announcement sparked enthusiasm among both the Elra and the crew of the Odyssey. As preparations began, the air buzzed with anticipation. Elran artisans crafted decorations, while the humans organized activities that would blend the two cultures. Together, they would plant flowers that symbolized unity and hope. As the day of the festival approached, excitement reached a fever pitch. The Elra painted their faces with vibrant colors and adorned themselves with flowers, while the humans donned traditional attire that had been adapted to reflect Elran aesthetics. When the day finally arrived, the atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter, music, and the sweet scent of blooming flowers. The festival commenced at dawn, the first light of the sun casting a golden glow over the gathering. Jax stood beside Serafina at the center of the clearing, ready to deliver the opening remarks. He felt a mix of nerves and exhilaration as he addressed the crowd. "Today, we come together not just as humans and Elra, but as partners, friends, and family," he began, his voice steady yet warm. "We celebrate the beauty of our differences and the strength of our shared purpose. Let this festival be a symbol of our commitment to one another and the future we are creating together." The crowd erupted into cheers, their voices blending in a harmonious chorus that echoed through the grove. Serafina stepped forward, her own voice ringing clear as she added, "May the seeds we plant today grow into a future filled with hope, understanding, and unity. Let us nurture this bond, for it is the foundation of our survival." With the ceremonial planting of seeds, the festival took on a life of its own. Participants took turns sharing stories, laughter, and traditions, creating a tapestry of shared experiences. Jax felt a profound sense of belonging, realizing that they were not just creating new hybrid lives, they were forging connections that would transcend time and space. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, laughter erupted as the children from both species played games together. They wove flower crowns, danced in circles, and shared treats made from the vibrant fruits of Elara. The barriers that once separated them began to dissolve, replaced by an atmosphere of joy and camaraderie. But amid the celebration, Isaac and Elira remained vigilant in the laboratory, diligently monitoring the latest batch of hybrid cells. They had seen encouraging signs, but knew that the true test lay ahead. "The festival is a beautiful testament to our partnership," Isaac remarked to Elira one evening, "but we must not lose sight of our responsibilities. We need to ensure these cells develop correctly if we're to fulfill our promise to the Elra." Elira nodded, her expression focused. "I agree. We've made significant progress, but we must also anticipate challenges. We need to be prepared for potential setbacks and remain transparent with the Elra about our findings." The collaboration between Isaac and Elira intensified as they worked tirelessly to refine their techniques. The balance of science and ethics weighed heavily on their shoulders. Each day, They communicated their progress to Jax and the Elra, fostering a sense of transparency and trust. As the festival drew to a close, the crew gathered around a large bonfire, the flames crackling as they reflected on the day's events. Stories were shared, and laughter echoed through the night sky. Jax looked around, his heart swelling with pride. They had not only planted seeds in the ground, but had sown the very foundations of a new alliance. Yet, as the warmth of the fire wrapped around them, Isaac's thoughts turned to the future. We're doing well, but we need to remain vigilant. The journey to creating a viable hybrid is complex, and there are still uncertainties ahead. Jax, sensing the weight of Isaac's words, spoke up. We've come far, but we need to be prepared for anything. We owe it to the Elra to ensure that our efforts bear fruit, not just for them, but for the future of humanity as well. With their resolve solidified, the crew of the Odyssey and the Elra faced the days ahead with hope and determination. They were now bound not only by the mission to save a civilization, but by a shared commitment to honor each other's cultures and histories. As the first stars twinkled in the night sky, Jax reflected on the journey that lay ahead. They had faced challenges and triumphs, but the seeds of hope had been planted. Together, they would navigate the complexities of their partnership, forging a legacy that would echo through time, a story of unity, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of life itself. Trials and triumphs. As the vibrant energy of the Festival of Blossoms lingered in the air, the crew of the Odyssey and the Elra resumed their work, merging the lessons learned from the festival into their ongoing mission. The joyful celebrations had solidified their commitment to each other, but as they dove back into their scientific endeavors, the reality of their task weighed heavily on their minds. In the laboratory, Dr. Isaac Moore and Elira, the Elran geneticist, meticulously examined the data from their latest hybrid cell experiments. The promising results from their earlier attempts fueled their determination, yet they understood that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges. One afternoon, as Isaac scrutinized the genetic sequences, his expression shifted from hopeful to grave. "Elira, look at this," he said, gesturing to the holographic display that illuminated the room. "Some of the hybrid cells are exhibiting unexpected genetic anomalies. We might be introducing instability into the genetic makeup." Elira leaned in closer, her brow furrowing in concern. "This is troubling. We must ensure that whatever we create is not only viable, but also safe for both species. We cannot allow our eagerness to cloud our judgment. The legacy we leave behind depends on it." Determined to address the anomalies, Isaac and Elira worked tirelessly, poring over the data, running simulations, and brainstorming solutions. They decided to delve deeper into Elran genetic engineering techniques that had historically worked for their species. "Let's analyze how the Elra have successfully adapted their own genetic materials," Elira proposed, tapping her fingers on the table. "Their traditional methods might offer insights into the stability we seek." Meanwhile, Jax found himself increasingly drawn into the daily life of the Elra community. He engaged with the locals, learning their customs and sharing his own experiences. The more he interacted with the Elra, the more he appreciated the richness of their culture. One morning, he was invited to assist in a traditional ceremony called the Rite of Renewal, a sacred event where the Elra honored their ancestors and expressed gratitude for the gifts of nature. Jax was honored to participate, feeling the weight of their traditions as he joined hands with Seraphina and other Elra in a circle. "Today, we give thanks to the earth for sustaining us and our ancestors for guiding our path," Seraphina announced, her voice resonating with emotion. "Let us plant seeds not just for ourselves, but for the future of all living beings." With each seed they planted, Jax felt a profound sense of purpose. This was not just a symbolic act, it was a commitment to nurturing life, a promise to protect and preserve what they had begun to create together. The Elra sang songs of their ancestors, weaving stories into the very fabric of the ceremony. The warmth of community enveloped him, and as the ritual came to a close, Jax felt a renewed sense of hope. Perhaps the trials they faced in the lab were just part of a larger journey, one that required patience, understanding, and collaboration. However, as the days turned into weeks, the scientific challenges persisted. Despite their best efforts, the hybrid cells continued to exhibit genetic instabilities. Isaac and Alira consulted with their teams, brainstorming potential solutions late into the night. The pressure mounted as they struggled to reconcile their scientific ambitions with the ethical implications of their work. During a particularly challenging meeting, Isaac spoke candidly to his team. "We are at a crossroads," he said, looking each member in the eye. "While we want to help the era survive, we must not lose sight of what we value as a society. If we compromise our ethics in pursuit of this goal, what does that say about us?" Matt Alvarez, who had been quietly observing, chimed in. "We need to communicate openly with the era. They deserve to know the challenges we're facing, as well as the potential risks. This partnership should be built on transparency, and we need their input on how to proceed." After some discussion, the crew agreed. Jax took the lead in organizing a meeting with the era leaders. That evening, they gathered in the communal hall, an elegant structure adorned with bioluminescent designs that illuminated the room with a soft glow. As the era representatives arrived, Jax felt a knot tighten in his stomach. Would they understand the complexities of their work? Would they view the instability of the hybrid cells as a failure? With the era seated, Jax stood before them, flanked by Isaac and Alira. "Thank you all for gathering here tonight," he began, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. "We have made significant progress in our efforts to create a viable partnership, but we must also confront the challenges that lie ahead." Isaac stepped forward, his voice clear. "The hybrid cells we've been developing have shown promising growth, but some have also displayed unexpected genetic anomalies. We believe it's crucial to inform you of these developments as we navigate this complex journey together." Serafina's expression turned serious, reflecting the weight of the moment. "Your honesty is appreciated. What do you propose we do next?" Alira chimed in. "We need to explore alternative methods and perhaps adapt our approaches. This may involve re-evaluating our techniques and integrating more of your traditional practices into the scientific process." The room fell into thoughtful silence as the elder processed the information. After a few moments, one of the elder representatives, a dignified woman named Lyra, spoke. "We respect your transparency and the challenges you face. The survival of our species is paramount, and we must work together to find a solution. Let us share our traditional genetic techniques, which have sustained us for generations. This is a collaborative effort, and together, we may yet overcome these trials." Jax felt a surge of relief wash over him. The Elra were not only receptive, but willing to collaborate. They had built a foundation of trust, and it was becoming clear that this partnership could thrive through honesty and shared effort. In the days that followed, the two teams, Human and Elran, collaborated intensely. Elra led workshops to teach the crew about Elran genetic techniques, explaining their methods of using organic materials and natural processes to enhance genetic stability. The crew took detailed notes, eager to learn and adapt. The combination of traditional Elran techniques and modern scientific approaches proved to be fruitful. The hybrid cells began to show improved stability and vitality, much to the excitement of Isaac and Alira. With each successful trial, the team felt a renewed sense of purpose, their spirits lifted by the prospect of achieving their goals. As the experiments progressed, the sense of camaraderie deepened. Jax and Serafina often collaborated on community events that celebrated the partnership between the two species. They organized festivals showcasing both cultures, allowing the humans to share their own stories, music, and traditions while honoring the era's heritage. One evening, as the sun set over Elara, casting a warm glow across the landscape, Jax and Serafina sat on a hillside overlooking the valley. The sounds of laughter and music floated through the air from the village below, where the preparations for their upcoming cultural festival were in full swing. "Do you think we're making a difference?" Jax asked, looking out at the horizon. "I sometimes wonder if we're truly helping your people, or if we're just playing with forces we don't fully understand. Serafina turned to him, her gaze unwavering. You are helping, Jax. With each effort we make, we are bridging two worlds. It may not always be easy, but the journey we are on together has already changed our destinies. We are planting seeds of hope, understanding, and unity. In that moment, Jax realized that the true essence of their mission was more than just scientific progress. It was about building relationships, fostering understanding, and celebrating the beauty of diversity. He felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the Elra and the lessons they had imparted. As the night sky filled with stars, the crew of the Odyssey and the Elra prepared for their next steps. They had faced trials and uncertainties, but through collaboration, they had cultivated a partnership that was beginning to bear fruit. The future was still uncertain, but the seeds of hope had taken root, promising a brighter path for both civilizations.